Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating Through Chaos. I'm going to start this project off with a sign I got at Dollar Tree. I'm going to take some paint in the color Deep Burgundy. I'm going to paint the top and bottom slat with that color. I ended up doing 2 coats on both because the background was really dark and I just kind of wanted the color to stand out. So I did 2 coats of that on either side. And I'm just making sure that I don't get it on the edges of the sign and in between each one of the slats, as I'm going to call them, because to me, I'm dividing it into 3 slats on the side. So once I have those all painted, I'm just going to let those fully dry, like I said, and I did a couple of coats on each. Once those were fully dry, I am going to start on my middle one, and I'm going to do that in the color Almondine. I'm going to make sure that I don't get it on the little piece in the center, and I'm going to make sure that I don't get any on the burgundy or on the sides of the sign. So I ended up changing my brush to be a little bit more effective. And again, just getting that fully covered. I did 2 coats on that as well. Once that's all painted and dry, I am going to take this butterfly. I'm not sure where I got this. It may have come from Dollar Tree or from Joann's. I really don't remember where I got it. But I ended up using the back side of it. And I'm going to just paint that all white so that when I cover it and I sand off the edges, you'll see the white and not the unfinished wood. So I'm just going to give that a quick coat of white paint. Then I'm going to take some Mod Podge. I'm going to put that on top of the paint. Once I had the Mod Podge all on there, I'm going to let that fully dry. Then I'm going to take this scrapbook paper that I got from Joann's last year, and it's just a star one, and I'm going to use the iron method to put that onto my butterfly. So I'm just ironing that right on top with a piece of parchment paper under my iron so that I don't burn the paper. Making sure I get all those edges. Now, once I have that all on there, I'm going to have to cut out the design. So I just cut off as much as I could of the big part of the scrapbook paper and getting as close as I can to it. And then I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to set this on a cutting mat and I'm going to cut off the excess using the X-Acto knife. And I just went around the whole thing until I had it all off. Once I have that all off, I am going to take some sandpaper and just sand down the rough edges all the way around, so it doesn't have that cut look from the X-Acto knife. So just sand all the way around the whole entire thing till it's all nice and smooth. Once I had that all sanded, I'm going to take the color blue that I found that matched closest to my scrapbook paper, and I'm going to paint the entire frame all the way around with that blue. And to find the closest match of paint that I had, I just took the scrapbook paper and put it up against all of my blue paints until I found one that was close to the color or close enough to it that I liked it. And then I just painted that on all the way around. While the frame was drying, I'm going to take my applicator and some antique wax, and I'm going to make this butterfly look a little on the rustic side. So I'm just kind of going around, lightly going over the whole thing with the antique wax. I'm not reapplying, I'm just using what's left on the applicator and just kind of going around and giving it a little bit of a rustic look. And I'm going to do the same thing to the middle lines here. I'm just going to add some antique wax with a paintbrush and then kind of blend it in with a baby wipe and kind of pull it up a little bit onto the red and a little bit all over the white color. And then I'm going to take a baby wipe and apply it to the beads at the top. So the same thing with the antique wax, just dipping my baby wipe into the antique wax and then wiping them onto the beads. Once I had those all stained, I'm going to take my butterfly and I'm going to glue that right to the center of my sign. And now I'm going to take a little bow that I made out of some ticking stripe. I'm going to add that right to the underneath of the head of the butterfly. And then I'm going to add a rusty star to the center of that. So I just have a mini rusty primitive star. I'm going to put that right in the center, and that is it. This project is done. I thought this turned out so super cute, and it was really, really easy, and I love anything patriotic. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to make one, and as always, don't forget to spread the chaos.